everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the iPhone 17 Pro and compare it against the iPhone 13 Pro Max and see which particular iPhone is a better one for you. Now, in almost every single way I can imagine, a phone like an iPhone 13 Pro Max, it's an older phone, it's going to be a little bit cheaper, but it's not going to be as great or as powerful of a phone as something like an iPhone 17 Pro. So I definitely kind of want to get that out of the way, that you're definitely going to be getting a very good iPhone from something like an iPhone 13 Pro Max still, but the 17 Pro is going to be significantly better in almost every single way, and that is without a doubt the one I'd probably recommend a majority of people to go and buy. So if you want to pick up either one of these phones or some other ones I'd recommend buying this year, links will be down in the description below. You can get them from there, and you can help support the channel at the exact same time. Now, starting off with the outside of both these iPhones. The iPhone 13 Pro Max originally came out back in 2021, and on the front side of this particular iPhone, it's basically going to be giving you a 6.7-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display. And within this type of panel, it's a pretty decent panel for the most part. So it's a fairly large display and a fairly large screen, which is something a lot of people love, which is something I personally like. You're also going to be able to still maintain and still be able to get a pretty good type of build quality. You know, having a 120Hz display like that is something that is very nice to have. I love being able to go through and get a phone that's going to be giving me that type of capability, and that is kind of what's going on here. So if you are kind of going through and picking up a device, I mean, that right there, it's a very nice thing to basically be able to buy. And I will say the display itself still gives you a lot of capability for the most part. Again, maybe it's not really perfect, but I think it's still a pretty good phone when it comes down to it from that particular side. On the iPhone 17 Pro, this phone is going to be giving you a slightly smaller 6.3-inch LTPO Super Retina XDR OLED display. So this type of panel and this type of display is going to be slightly different. So with a panel and with a display like this, I definitely do think getting a display and getting a phone like this, I mean, it still holds up very, very well. With a phone like this, it still is going to be giving you a very good type of build quality. It still is going to be holding up fairly well for the most part in a lot of other ways as well. And like I said before, if you're about to go through and pick up a phone, I do think that is a pretty good option. It's not really perfect, but I would imagine that these types of displays, these types of devices are going to be giving you a good type of experience. And I think, I mean, if I'm looking at a phone, the iPhone, 17 Pro is by far going to be the one that's going to be giving you a way better type of experience. And that's the one that I think would be the better option probably for a vast majority of people. They're both giving you charging ports at the bottom, but the iPhone 13 Pro Max is a Lightning port. The iPhone 17 Pro is going to be a USB Type-C port. So that right there is going to be a slight difference just from that side in and of itself. You're also going to be able to get frosted glass backs on the back side of both of them, triple camera setups on the back side of both of them as well. You're still going to be able to go through and still get, MagSafe capability on both, wireless charging on both as well. However, with something like the iPhone 17 Pro, that device is going to be giving you reverse wired charging, where the iPhone 13 Pro Max is going to be giving you only, there's not any reverse charging at all inside of that device. So kind of keep that in mind. But I would imagine that if you're going to go through and pick up a phone, these types of devices still give you a really good type of experience. They still feel very expensive. That's something that I like about both these phones, because they still feel like a very expensive, very good, capable type of device when it comes down to it. But I would imagine that if you're trying to get the better one then something like the iPhone, 17 Pro is definitely going to be the better one for you. When it comes down to the price tag, the iPhone 13 Pro Max is going to be significantly cheaper than something like an iPhone 17 Pro. If you're trying to get the phone that is going to be slightly cheaper for a lot of people, then something like an iPhone 17 Pro is just going to be way more expensive. It's going to be substantially, more expensive when it comes down to it. So if you are trying to get the phone that is going to be cheaper here, then there might be some better options out there rather than these ones. So kind of keep that in mind. Although I don't think it's like the biggest deal in the world. But if you are in the market and you're trying to go through and pick up a device, the 17 Pro is going to be significantly more expensive. Now, on top of that, I think another really important aspect of these devices too is basically when it comes down to their capability, basically of their cameras. Now, with something like the iPhone 17 Pro, this phone is going to be giving you a very good type of camera inside of it. It's going to be a very solid sensor. It's going to be giving you 48 megapixel cameras all throughout. The 13 Pro Max is giving you 12 megapixel cameras all throughout. And with something like the 13 Pro Max, this type of camera, it is going to be very, very good. And that's something that I love about these types of phones, because those types of cameras, they give you such a good sensor problem, pretty much in every single area. And you are getting 4K at 60 on the front and the back of both, but the iPhone 17 Pro does give you 4K at 120 frames per second. So that right there, that is kind of one of the biggest, areas to kind of keep in mind, because once again, if you're trying to pick up the phone that is going to be giving you the better capability here once again, you might have to take a look at something like an iPhone 17 Pro. Not only that phone is also going to be giving you center stage capability and dual capture mode inside of that phone as well. And like I said before, if I'm going to go through and pick up a phone, something like an iPhone 17 Pro would probably feel like the better device. It's also giving you 8x zoom, where the iPhone 13 Pro Max is giving you 3x zoom. So kind of keep that in mind when it comes down to it as well. So in my personal opinion, from that particular situation, I do feel like the iPhone 17 Pro is giving you a significantly better camera when it kind of comes down to it. When it comes down to software longevity, this is also going to be another big key takeaway. If you're trying to get the phone that's going to be giving you the better type of, longevity in terms of software, then something like the iPhone 17 Pro, this is also going to be another big one. That phone is going to be giving you a longer software support. If you're trying to get the phone that is going to be giving you that, then something like the iPhone 17 Pro, it's probably going to be lasting I would imagine another 3 to 4 years on top of software updates for the iPhone, 17 Pro. So if you're trying to get the longer lasting one, definitely it's going to be the iPhone 17 Pro. And when it comes down to the battery life, the iPhone 13 Pro Max it's going to be giving you about 28 hours of video playback. The iPhone 17 Pro, about 33 hours. So it's probably going to be even a bigger difference than what Apple's stating on their website, because that right there is also going to be, if it's a brand new iPhone 13 Pro Max, which a majority of iPhone 13 Pro Maxes aren't really that. And finally, when it comes down to the performance, the iPhone 13 Pro Max is going to be giving you the A15 Bionic chip inside of it with 6 gigabytes of RAM, where the iPhone 17 Pro is going to be giving you the A19 Pro chipset inside of it with 12 gigabytes of RAM. So there's a massive difference in terms of the RAM, in terms of the capability, in terms of everything like that. And that right there is going to be another big difference, because if you are trying to go through and get the device that is going to be giving you a better type of capability, again, it's going to be a little tough to tell. Not really. The iPhone 17 Pro is going to be a significantly better performing device than something like the iPhone 13 Pro Max. And if I'm in the market and I'm trying to go through and pick up a device, then definitely something like an iPhone 17 Pro is going to be a significantly faster phone. And that's the one that, again, I would recommend almost every single person to go through and buy. That phone is going to be significantly better in almost every single angle. And that's something that I actually like thinking about. And that's something I actually like, grabbing. I like, the performance of a 17 Pro. But here's the thing. When I take a look at both these phones, right? If you have an iPhone 13 Pro Max and if you have all the money in the world, then definitely go and buy something like an iPhone 13 Pro Max, right? Definitely go and buy that phone. That's going to be very, very good. But if you, don't want to spend, $1,100 on the 17 Pro, you can also spend, about hundreds of dollars cheaper on something like an iPhone 15 Pro or 15 Pro Max. You can go through and buy one of those phones, still get a really good upgrade, and not necessarily have to spend the $1,100 on the 17 Pro. You can spend a significantly less portion of that, save money, and still get a really good upgrade coming from the iPhone 13 Pro Max. So it kind of is up to you how you kind of take a look at it. But I would imagine that if you're going to go through and pick up a phone, something like an iPhone 13 Pro Max, it still actually is a decent phone. The 17 Pro is significantly better. But if you want to get the phone that might be a little cheaper, then the 15 Pro or 15 Pro Max might make a little bit more sense. So in terms of that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.